Three Brewers earned All-Star honors: Freddie Peralta, Trevor McGill, Jacob Mizrowski. The only McGill and Mizrowski could pitch tonight. That's because Peralta pitched on Sunday. It was a final start. What was a great first half for Peralta and the crew. The righty, 11-4, 1 win shy of his career high. He's also posted a 2.66 ERA, which would also be the best of his career. It's come as the Brewers won a franchise record 56 games before the break, and has them sitting just a game out of first place in the NL Central. Peralta loves where the group is at right now.
I think that we are in great position right now. As a team, we're doing great because we are not thinking about how far we are from the first place or where we are in the wild card spot and all that. We're just trying to play game by game, just focusing and win one at a time. I think that's been the key for us. We are not thinking too much ahead. We're just doing what we can control to do.
Milwaukee get a return from the break on Friday against the Dodgers in L.A. Peralta will be on the mound for Game 2 of that series. A trip to Seattle follows that to face the Mariners for another 3 games.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Rural Mutual Insurance is a proud sponsor of the Wisconsin State Fair. As a thank you for your support, they're giving away State Fair tickets. Visit ruralmutual.com/win and enter to win State Fair tickets.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, we're just 3 days away from the Packers rookies reporting for training camp. The veteran's going to join them next Tuesday before camp gets going on Wednesday with the first of 14 practices open to the public. And the Bucs going to continue their summer league action out in Las Vegas tomorrow against the Bulls. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heilprin.
The Milwaukee Brewers' third best record in the National League, behind only the Dodgers and the Cubs. And what's amazing about the Brewers, when you look at their journey from the offseason to now, in the offseason, until March, they didn't sign a free agent for more than $1 million. They finally signed Quintana under pressure for $4.25 million at some point in March, and that certainly helped them. He's been a fine addition for the Brewers. So they don't have much of an offseason after losing Willy Adames to free agency, after trading Devin Williams, and yet here they are again. Then they start the season, the Torpedo Bat Series in New York. Remember, oh my goodness, Freddie Peralta said yesterday, Sunday, that he was a little bit worried after that series and after what happened at the hands of the New York Yankees with their torpedo bats, which we haven't heard a word about for a couple of months now. The Brewers climb back out of that, and here they are, as they are here every single year, it seems. No matter what you do to them, no matter who they lose, they rally.
Yeah, I mean, I went to the one in Kansas City, that would have been 12? I remember going to that and seeing that, and I thought it was the coolest thing that all the big stars were in one place. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting.
Forgot to put the big voice guy into the intro. Whoops. That's my bad. This is the Wisco Sports Show, though. This is, Badgers, Brewers, Packers, Bucks. This is where we gather to talk sports, etc. A little sound from Ken Rosenthal, his Foul Territory podcast, talking about don't look now, but here the Brewers go again, which is kind of funny considering both he and Bob Nightingale were in Brewers spring training writing stories that were kind of coded like the Brewers can't keep doing this. And now they are doing it. Again, you also heard a little bit from Jacob Mizrowski talking about an experience he had the 2012 All-Star game in Kansas City. That question and answer provided by our own Mike Clemens. And it's funny that he asked because, I don't know, if you ask a young athlete, you ever been to a Major League All-Star game? I bet 99% of the time the answer would be no, obviously not. But Mizrowski was there in Kansas City, and to hear him talk about that experience and kind of sound excited for his experience coming up tonight. I guess it's reported by Brewers people and others that he's going to pitch in the 7th inning. I didn't know they scripted that stuff out in advance, but it makes sense if you want to have a reason to tune in the game about when a player is going to play. So that's where we begin tonight. A couple Brewers thoughts, a couple All-Star thoughts, and a little reaction to the home run derby last night. I'm not sure what to do with that. I watched mostly the whole thing because even when the sports calendar is quiet, there's things going on. Like maybe I'll watch the ESPYs tomorrow night. I don't know. And try to get some sort of subject, some sort of content, some sort of take for the show. So it was an effort to do that I watched last night and was mostly, So I'll take your thoughts and calls on the All-Star game, the Home Run Derby, and anything going on with the Brewers at 608-321-1670 between now and 6 o'clock. We have two guests tonight. Chuck Freeman, the Locked On Brewers podcast. I spoke with him earlier today for Bill's show. I had a lot of fun talking with Chuck. He's on with Bill every week. I very rarely get to do interviews with Chuck, so it was really fun. I'm going to play that for you at the bottom of this hour at 4:30, and then you'll hear a conversation that I had with Zach Heilprin, a little bit of a preview for Big Ten Media Days. We talked about that because that's coming up in Vegas next week. But then also talking about some possible Packers extensions that are looming or contracts that may need to be done before training camp starts, which is also next week. And I'm already like preemptively getting frustrated that the Packers haven't figured out some of these contracts. So that's what's on the table. Again, I'll take your calls. To get right into it, the only thing that I took away from the Home Run Derby last night, and I cut some sound, was that people don't like Pat McAfee and they don't want him on the broadcast. Here's a little bit of that last night, him introing Cal Raleigh, better known as the Big Dumper.
The Seattle Mariners, hailing from Colorado, North Carolina. A man who's doing something that no catcher has ever done in the history of the sport, with the fattest ass in all of professional sports, and leading the big leagues with 38 homers so far. Ladies and gentlemen, Big Dumper Cal Raleigh.
So I believe that's Ty Schmidt with him, who's the Packers guy on the Pat McAfee show. Here's another intro, if you like the WWE style introductions, for national star James Wood, who we just saw play the Brewers this last weekend.
Representing the Washington Nationals from Rockville, Maryland, a man who has thunder in his hands. He has 24 homers on the season, and he has so much damn power, he's gonna hit bombs to left field, what? Right field, what? And center field, what? Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for James Wood.
There were a lot of complaints about Pat McAfee last night. I don't have anything against Pat McAfee. His show isn't my speed. Doesn't mean it's bad. It's just not something that I typically listen to. Although I don't listen to a ton of sports shows religiously. I cut clips and I pay attention, when they talk about our teams, because I want that content. I want to be able to discuss that stuff on the air. But McAfee's not really my thing. And just judging on Twitter, it's like, oh, holy crap. A couple tweets that I bookmarked. ESPN needs to enable a feature that allows people to unsubscribe from Pat McAfee in all formats. Nick Field, this is a tweet that was going viral. Says, kids don't realize it, but you used to be able to turn on ESPN and not see Stephen A. Smith or Pat McAfee. They were glorious times. This is from Ron at Ron the Hoss. I'm just looking at the top trending tweets about this. Does ESPN know that Pat McAfee is bad at his job and subsequently annoys the F out of anyone who isn't 17 years old? I don't think Pat McAfee's bad at his job. I don't need the WWE style intros for everything. Like, remember when The Rock introed, was it the Ram? Who did the Rams play in the Super Bowl? The Rams and the Bengals a couple years ago when The Rock was like down on the field. And it was a little odd. Or maybe it was the game in LA. I can't remember if it was the Rams. I think it was, but I remember Rock being down on the field and all the players are lined up for the kickoff. They are ready to go on the field. And it's like, all right, quick before kickoff, let's swing down to Dwayne The Rock Johnson because he's here and he's a part of this. And he's like, the Ram, and he starts doing intros. It's like, I don't know, man. I don't need it. I guess it's showmanship. Pat McAfee is one of ESPN's top personalities. So, okay, stick him at the All-Star game or the Home Run Derby, make him a part of it. I get why ESPN does this thing. I just, not for me. I'm also not going to, rage about it on the internet like a lot of people were. But that I from what I saw was the biggest storyline from last night. That and Cal Raleigh and who is the player? Brent Rooker, is it, from the A's? Yeah. There was a tiebreaker that Cal Raleigh used or benefited from to advance to the second round over Brent Rooker. And the tiebreaker was the longest home run. And it came down to 16ths of an inch or 64ths of an inch. I'm not a measurement expert. The longest home run that Cal Raleigh hit in that first round, 470.61. Brent Rooker, 470.53. And I would just like to point out, separate of the home run derby, I don't buy the home run distance measurements at all. Like, I am so skeptical of all of those. Like, how many times do we got to watch a Brewers pitcher or a Brewers hitter thump a ball high off the scoreboard in center field, and you're like, man, that one must have went, such and such. And then we get the projected home run distance, and it's like, that's it? Like, really? I reject that science. I reject the math of however they calculate that stuff. I'm just out on it completely. I don't buy into it. I'm a denier of home run distance metrics. And to the point where we can get it down to not 1, not 2, but 3, 4, 5, 6 decimal points during the home run derby. Out. I'm just out. I don't care that Brent Rooker, or not, like, I'm not going to cry tears that it was rigged against Brent Rooker. It's a home run derby. I don't care. I would just like to point out that I do not for a second buy into those home run distance measurements. There's no way that they're correct. At least a lot of the times. When the ball travels like the full distance, like when it lands perfectly and gracefully in the second deck in right field, like, yeah, that's a little bit easier to measure. But some of these ballparks, like if it hits structure, if it hits the front face of a wall, or if it's a scoreboard, in the case of Milwaukee, like that center field wall is a little bit closer and it's a little bit more vertical because of the roof. So the ball, even if it's going to travel 500 feet, it's still going to hit that scoreboard. And then the math is like, you got to triangulate or use whatever formula. It's like, well, it hit the scoreboard here, and we estimate that it would have gone another such and such feet. And I'm just like, I don't buy it. Not at all. So those were my takes from the home run derby last night. We now look forward to the All-Star game tonight, which I'm looking forward to watching. I'll at least catch Miz. I would really like for Mizorowski to pitch a 1-2-3 inning, not just because I'm a Brewers fan and I want to see any Brewer All-Stars succeed. It's more because I know how this works. There's nothing going on this week, right? There's going to be a headline that comes out of tonight's game, even if it's a reach and even if it's stupid and silly and pointless and ridiculous. Like, something's got to hit the ticker on ESPN tomorrow morning. And when Cowherd leads his show, like, something's got to be there. Even if it's not the first segment, like, there's got to be something to come out of the home run derby. And if Mizorowski gives up 2 hits and a walk and then, a homer and it's just a mess of an inning, well, that's going to get run tomorrow because people are already skeptical of this guy who has 5 career starts becoming an all-star, despite like 12 pitchers being asked and opting out first. I just don't think you should have any right to complain at that point. I mentioned this yesterday when I was doing Bill's show. It's like that friend who can't attend the function, but still wants to be ceremoniously invited. I have a friend. We all have this friend in our friend group. My friend's name is Craig. I love him to death. But he gets his back up if you don't invite him, even if you're 100% for sure that he can't go. He'll see pictures of the function or the event, and he'll hit up the group chat and say, like, oh, nice. Looks like a fun time. My invite must have gotten lost. Must have got lost in the mail. We're like, well, buddy, we knew that you were out of town for the weekend. We knew that you had this. We knew you had a wedding to go to. He'll go, yeah. No, it's fine, man. I just would like to be invited, like to be included. Like, you don't get to do that. That's a fun thing to do to your friends. Phillies players don't get to stand in front of Jason Stark and act like they're being persecuted to the national baseball scribes because, well, it's ridiculous. Suarez should be there. He opted out. These guys opted out. It was like a dozen of them, Ken Rosenthal reported, which means there's probably more. You can only confirm 12. There might even be more. So Miz is pitching tonight. I hope he succeeds just so it doesn't become a thing tomorrow, because that's how it works. Something's got to become a thing. We're going to make something a thing. I hope it's not that. Let's just put it that way. Let's take a call or two before we get to our first break here. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
So I never heard. How did your ankle come out? I mean, obviously you didn't tell the truth yesterday.
What do you mean?
You really broke it at tripping over slow cookers at a lawn party.
That is
you just used fishing to try to make yourself look like a man.
You
were
so?
doing a Lululemons at a slow cooker party.
I did not have Lululemons on. I wish I would have tripped over a slow cooker. I think I'd probably be able to protect myself a little bit better, Dave, in that instance. No, I broke through a piece on a bridge, fell on some rocks.
I know. I heard the story, and it's like I have nightmares. The way you were describing that, it's like, oh my God, I can only imagine. Now I know. I always wanted to go fly fishing with you. There ain't a chance in hell.
Yeah, not anymore. No, not interested.
I don't think I trust you.
No, I didn't fall. The thing I was standing on broke. It gave out from underneath me.
That's what I say every time I fall downstairs. The damn stairs just move for me.
Okay, well that's a little different, but I appreciate the humor.
Well, I got my time here. A couple of things. One, that All-Star thing last week, you talking about the home run, that's a farce. You deny a guy from moving to the next round of a couple 1/10 of an inch. They should have just both advanced or the best of three. That's a joke. That'll change.
It's
now the Miz.
Also, I don't care. I don't care. I don't want to be the guy who
Here
comes
do
on the
I.
air the day after an All-Star game and be like, we need to change the rules are fine.
I
It's
don't
stupid.
care
Who
either.
cares? It's just I don't buy into the home run distances as it is, and now you're going to go like 6 decimal points deep. Out.
The whole thing's a joke anyway. Not the good old days, man. We had the 70s, 80s All-Star games where actually people cared and you really played hard. Now it's just like an event.
I think they play hard in
and
baseball. The other sports are different, but I think in baseball it's a legit baseball game.
Now the Miz. Let's hope the first pitch he throws, he pulls the calf muscle and he's out for the year.
Well, that's
we
weird.
can only be so lucky that he flops like one of those fish you pretend to catch, because he doesn't belong in there to begin with. 5 starts, and you're going to reward that just like your generation.
Why didn't Matthew Boyd go?
So
Your Cubs starter, he could have had the opportunity to go. He's not going. So what? Are we just
we
supposed
lost, we lost the guy who's leading in RBIs. He couldn't get in because we don't dare have another DH. Well, we're going to put in the Miz because he had 5 starts and. Oh, my God.
Well, those are hitters. Position players are different because they don't have as many opt-outs. They had like 12 or 15 opt-outs. It's at some point, like, I don't want to hear the complaints. If that many pitchers are going to turn it down, eventually they're going to get to someone.
And doesn't that tell you something? At this whole that whole baseball All-Star game is a farce when you got that many opt-outs. And if you're Miz, why are you accepting it when you're like the 15th choice? I'd say
you want him to turn it down. You want him to turn down an opportunity to go represent his team?
If you're telling me the truth that 12 or 15 turned it down, that's kind of a joke now that he accepted it. But it ain't going to matter because Brewer fans, he's going to pop a calf muscle and he's going to be out till January. And God, isn't that going to be sweet?
That's a bad look for you, Dave, rooting for injuries as a Cubs fan. I appreciate the call, even for you, Dave, who I enjoy. You might be right about the opt-outs. We're dealing with a couple different subjects here, but Ken Rosenthal reported yesterday or wrote, and Dave, I think you'll appreciate this, and I appreciate probably on a lesser degree than you, but I like this too. As Boston Red Sox manager Alex Cora told reporters Sunday, we have to do a better job to get the best of the best out there. There's too many all-stars. Cora suggested a longer break or playing the game a day later on Wednesday. Maybe those ideas would help, or maybe a change would only create different problems. I don't understand why. He's saying we got to get the best of the best out there. There's too many all-stars. Okay, well, those two things don't fit. This is the part that I think, Dave, you will appreciate. Players sometimes complain the league does not promote them properly. Well, the All-Star Game is a promotional vehicle. The game's top summer showcase, a rare time for baseball to command center stage. And while each player who bowed out can justify his decision by citing a desire to minimize risk of injury, the collective look borders on embarrassing. At some level, the players need to demonstrate an obligation to their sport beyond simply showing up for introductions. There you go. Dave, so I might agree with you on like, this generation or this group of players, this current group of players, doesn't appreciate the opportunity. It doesn't matter to them like it should. We can have a conversation about that. It was written about by one of the top baseball scribes the other day. So it's totally on the board. I just don't really care that much. You know what I mean? Like, Dave, on one hand, we can't say, well, it's the All-Star game, it's stupid, and then give like a list of 100 things that we're furious about with the All-Star game. Like, it's either stupid and it doesn't matter, or like we have to care about all these things. We can't just sit the fence on that. 608-321-1670, Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, good afternoon, Grant. It's Darnell.
Hey, Darnell.
Little early call
No
here.
kidding.
That was a major L call from Dave there.
Cheering for injuries is a tough look. That's a bad look even for Dave.
You never do that. Like, you know, I'm not out here rooting for PCA to fall on his ass. You know, it's just a bad look, and it is what it is. But I come to expect that from a lot of Cubs fans, unfortunately.
Dave,
anyways, that aside, the Brent Rooker versus the Big Dumper.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that we didn't get a chance to hear the A's announcer announcing his home runs was kind of funny. You know what I'm referring to?
Say that one more time.
The A's announcer.
Oh,
it's a woman with a very, very high voice.
The lady that no one on the internet likes. Yes, I do see the tweets.
The one that referred to a grand slam as a 4-run home run.
I did not hear that clip. That's
You should look that one up. It's one of the funniest home run calls you'll ever hear. She goes, a 4-run home run. Like, nope, you're wrong. Just wrong.
Yeah, that's not great. Was she there?
No. I'm saying that we got to listen to.
Oh, I know what you mean.
This dude hit home runs and it like actually sounded.
Oh,
right,
yeah. I know it. The home run calls for the A's highlights are kind of. It's not that bad, and some people, I think you'd agree, Darnell. Some people are just, no matter how good an announcer is, if it's a woman, they're gonna turn their ears sideways a little bit. She does not. She does not seem to. She doesn't have it. At least not.
I don't think it's a woman thing. I think it's just a bad call, unfortunately, and she has so many of them now that it's like it's not a good look for the A's that are already playing in a minor league stadium. You know what I mean? So that's one thing. I think the Miz is going to have a great inning tonight because he's facing a bunch of AL hitters that have never seen anything from him yet.
That's a good point.
And also, if we're going to have the All-Star game in July, you might have a couple people that have only pitched a couple games or only been in a couple games. But guess what? If the game ended, or if there was All-Stars that were chosen at the end of the season, like Pro Bowlers or NBA All-Stars that are a little bit further into the season, he'd be on there without a doubt if he continues what he's doing. You know what I mean?
Well, and I think that's the line of thinking. You have to think that way. And I understand. I prefer for it to be like a year-long award. The second half is a little bit shorter than the first. I mean, Bryce Strang was almost an all-star last year. We were making the case for Jory Ortiz, and then you see players drop off in the second half. If you are an all-star level player for more than 1 year of your career, you're probably at some point going to get in. There's a lot of players. Position players typically don't opt out like pitchers do. Of course, they want to show up for the introductions, be on the red carpet, maybe even they don't want to play. So that's a real thing. And again, that's human nature. I can't blame them. We're really late for a break, and I want to get to Chuck Freeman on time at the bottom of the hour, so we got to run. I'll be right back to your phone calls after this.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Chuck Freeman coming up in about 10 minutes. Locked on Brewers. Had a chance to chat with him earlier today when filling in for Bill. Really good conversation. We just hit every angle of the Brewers. First half, All-Star break, trade deadline, what we're looking forward to in the second half, and hopefully into the postseason. We got loaded phone lines, so you don't have to rush, but just don't waste time. Be efficient. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, Grant. Clemhead Mike.
Clemhead, good evening.
Good evening. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Oh, I am well. I am very well. My foot actually feels okay. It's more the bruising on my chest and my ribs that's a pain in the butt today, but that's fine.
Yeah. Did they give you some good painkillers, hopefully?
No, he just told me ibuprofen and Tylenol, which I have plenty and normally does the trick, so it's fine.
Yeah.
I slept like a baby last night. I hit the old ibuprofen Tylenol PM combo, and if that keeps doing the trick, then I'm fine without, Vicodin or whatever else they give you.
Yeah, I do the Tylenol PM once in a while too. Yeah, well, it was great to hear from Dave from Monona. I haven't heard from him for a long time. I don't know what Dave looks like, but I understand he's not a real good-looking man. When he was a child, his priest said he only liked him as a friend. So,
Yeah, Dave's not the most handsome-looking guy, but I do love Dave when he calls. I got people on Twitter like, why do you give Dave the time of day? He's like, okay, so he's being Dave because he's funny. That's why. Everyone lighten up just a little bit.
I love his calls. So
I do too.
I basically just wanted to call and see how you're doing. I did not watch the home run derby last night, and a survey on the WAY showed that 59% of listeners did not watch the home run derby last night. So
that's not surprising.
I think it's lost some luster, but
I think it has too. I think more people would probably have watched it. I appreciate Clemhead, but I got 3 other callers I want to get to, and I just got to go quick here. I'd wager that like 80% would have watched it. 70 or 80% would have watched it if there was a Brewer involved. I think people say like, oh, the home run derby's gotten like, it was so much better back in the day. I mean, was it, or like, were you just a child or in your 20s with no obligations and like, it was a better time? And people talk about video games the same way. I was talking about this with Austin this morning. Oh, Mario Super Sluggers was great. And it was, but like, was that video game great, or did you just love being 16 and not having a care in the world, or 12, or however old? I think part of that is at play here. It's nostalgia, obviously, too. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Grant, it's always, this time of year around all-star games, really around any major sport where the discussion is, well, how do we fix it?
Oh, it sucks. And it's the absolute worst.
You can set your clock to it.
Yes.
At this point.
How do we fix the all-star game, though? Do you have any, before the game even is played tonight, what do you think people are going to be saying tomorrow? Because there's going to be some suggested fix.
Well, I think it's going to be a lot of like, okay, who the heck are some of these guys? And that's kind of what the MLB, I think, is trying to correct with, inviting Jacob Mizorowski to pitch. So let's show him a little grace and let's enjoy it. Because honestly, I mean, the baseball MLB All-Star Game is really probably the best one.
Yeah. I agree.
The Pro Bowl doesn't exist. The NBA is a joke.
There's
a
real, like, I remember last year, like the national anthem was last year. The national anthem, the girl was like in the bag when she sang it. But like there's an official, like, formal feel. The players on the white chalk lines, and like it feels like an American thing. Where the Pro Bowl is a joke, and the NBA All-Star Game, it's like we're gonna have a DJ, and like this is just hokey. But the MLB All-Star Game is like a legit, it feels like a formal American. There's some patriotism there. It is the best stars. They're playing a real game. So I'm with you. It's the best, but it's still an All-Star Game. So, set your hopes low for tonight and just hope you're pleasantly surprised.
And, one change I think they could make is winner gets home field advantage in the World Series. Why did we ever get rid of that?
I love this so much, Cone. And I can tell in your voice, maybe you're not pulling my leg, but I love that rule. Because we just go back and forth. Like before it happened, it's like there needs to be something on the line. And then they put something on the line and people were like, well, it's stupid. How do you put something like that on the line for an all-star game? So you got rid of it. And now we're kind of going back. So I just think every couple of years, Major League Baseball should flip an on-off switch on the home field advantage in the World Series thing. Cause it just gives us we need something to bitch about and to try to fix. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, what's up, dude? It's Big Ron in Jersey.
Hey, Big Ron. Your house isn't underwater, is it? Are you doing okay out there?
Yeah, we're on the high ground. We're up on a hill.
Attaboy.
So we're good. It was luckily my wife got home before me, and she told me what road to avoid on my way home from work. So I just had to take a slightly alternate route, but no, we're not really affected by the floods that much. So I'm just sitting here munching on some wasabi tea trail mix.
Oh, you're noshing on some trail mix. Hell yeah, Big Ron. Getting ready for the game tonight?
Yeah, I'm pumped up to see Miz, man. I'm just bummed that there's no betting. You can't bet on any of that. You can only bet on the strikeout totals for the starting pitchers.
Okay.
They're not because they don't know what relievers are going to get in the game. So there'll probably be a live line on it. So, but I got a question for you. Does Pat McAfee have any shirts with sleeves?
Does he have like a problem? I think that's just his thing, right? Like he's always shirtless and or sleeveless and he's showing off the arms. But I loved the older, like the crustier baseball takes last night, like put sleeves on. This is a gentleman's sport, which I like the take. I'm not bent out of shape about it, but I like that baseball still has a little bit of that.
I got to disagree with Cone, man. MLB is not the best All-Star game. The best All-Star game is the NHL Four Nations.
But that doesn't count. That's a different thing. And I agree. That thing ripped, but that's different. Come on.
I mean, come on. You got every player in the USA versus Canada taking off the gloves and fighting 9 seconds into the game, man. You can't beat that.
That was pretty. And I don't even like hockey. I know nothing about hockey. And I loved that thing. That was a blast.
So I know you got a bunch of callers on hold, so I'll leave you with one quick stat here that I heard today. And I can't remember where I heard it, but the Brewers have the most wins in Major League Baseball against teams with a better than 500 record. So this is no fluke, man. This team is no fluke. I mean, I really feel like right up there with the best pitching staff in the league, and the way Yelich and the bottom of the order has been hitting the last month and a half. If we can just sustain this, man, I think it's going to be a great ride into the postseason this year for once.
I hope so. I hope they come out of this All-Star break ready to rumble with the Dodgers again, because the Dodgers just saw them. The Dodgers are going to be out for revenge, and they're going to want to set that right. So, and I like this season they're chasing the Cubs. I like that they're not 6 or 7 games into the lead. Like, I think this is the type of team, and Murphy's the type of manager who you need some reason to stay locked in, and I think they absolutely have it. All right, one more caller here, and then we'll take a break. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, this is Don from Madison.
Hey, Don, what's going on?
I got 4 quick takes.
Yeah, go ahead.
So first quick take is a counter take on Dave. One word: craptastic.
Yeah, shut up.
I would never say I hope Craig Counsell gets hit by a bus because he was a traitor and left Milwaukee for Chicago. There's just one. You don't wish harm on anyone.
That's
Second
reasonable.
thing is, second take. What the thing no one has said about Miz's 5 starts, that I haven't heard at least, is that they weren't just 5 good starts. They weren't even 5 great starts. He did things in his first 5 starts, the first 2 in particular, that had never been done in modern baseball history.
Yeah.
That puts him into a different category from every other rookie. And so that gets some thought. Third thing is home run derby. I disagree with you on distance, because if you think about it, compared to like Army artillery, we could calculate with some degree of accuracy, in fact, a very high degree of accuracy, way before computers were a thing in the world, what a trajectory looks like and what a landing point is.
Sure.
So I don't have a problem with that. My reason why I don't care about the home run derby is that it's not even batting practice. It's like rando, whoever you pick, throws you some softballs.
Mm-hmm.
That is not a true home run derby. Like if they were even batting off of jugs, I would say, okay, give me that, where at least it's some speed. But yeah, I got no use for that take. And then the last one is, put me in that category of let's make the game count for something. I like the home field advantage in the playoffs deal.
Yes.
I mean, the difference between the leagues is so arbitrary anyway. It's less arbitrary now that they both have the DH. But I would much rather have it be something like the All-Star game than what it is now, just the random best record deal.
Yeah, I like that. What did you say your name was one more time?
Don.
Okay, I was going to say, Don, I appreciate the call, and those are great takes. I love that we're discussing home field advantage in the World Series. It's incredible. When we come back, because I got to go. There's a great interview with Chuck. You're going to enjoy it. It's from Bill's show earlier today. Freems is awesome and has been doing sports radio in Wisconsin sports a long time. So a treasure. It'll be fun to chat with him next. I might have to break the interview up between this segment and the last one of the hour. That's okay. We'll get it all in. It's pre-recorded. It'll be easy. So when we come back, more Brewers conversation, outlook on the first half, the second half, the trade deadline, the whole thing. That's next.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 5 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 4 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Wisco Sports Show. Coming up after 5 o'clock, more of your calls on the Brewers and on the All-Star game. We'll keep that going. Also want to talk about some potential extensions for the Packers. We'll discuss that more with Zach Heilprin at 4:35, as well as getting ready for Big Ten Media Days. Right now, a conversation that I had with the legendary Chuck Freimund just earlier today.
I'm pretty fired up, that's for damn sure. Just happy to be around this clubhouse, and great group of guys to enjoy this with, that's for damn sure. So this was number one for me this year. You guys asked me earlier this season, and I kept it to myself that this is what, I was striving for, and a lot of hard work and a lot of pitchers in front of me, a lot of my bullpen guys in front of me, putting it down and giving me the opportunity to go out there and get saves this year. So, without the guys around me, this probably wouldn't be possible. So.
That's Trevor McGill. For all the talk about Mizorowski, it's become a little bit of a lightning rod, mostly because, it's a really slow time in the sports calendar. And, someone with 5 starts made in the All-Star game. There we go. There's a topic. There's some controversy. That's something we can glom onto. And as a talk show host, someone who has to come up with topics, I understand that's how it works. But McGill, at least among Brewers fans last couple of days, I think has flown under the radar. Someone who's had a really impressive season, a deserving All-Star, and you hear him talk there about how that's been a goal for him and something that he's been striving for this season. And why not? As an anchor of this bullpen and this team that's shown that they can win consistently, you knew he'd have opportunities. An excellent opportunity here at 11:35. It is Tuesday to connect with our friend Chuck Freimund, the Locked On Brewers podcast. Chuck, it is great to see you. You look excellent. You look tan. Have you been out golfing? What is this? You look great.
All the above.
All?
And yes, all the above. Been out getting a suntan while golfing, but playing absolutely horrible golf.
I played 9 holes that I walked with a friend on Sunday. We were kind of down south of La Crosse. We went to Viroqua Hills. They had a league championship going on, so we had to tuck our tails. We went to the Westby ski jump, the snowflake course. We couldn't get in. I couldn't believe it. So we ended up playing Walsh Golf Center in La Crosse. Very simple, some par 3s and 4s. Walked the whole thing. It was beautiful. I got a little tan myself, brought the sunscreen. I mostly just used about 2 clubs. I did not touch my driver all day, which I think is what I need. I think that's what I need.
Okay. The funny thing about golf these days is, like on a Saturday, you used to be able to walk onto a golf course at 3 or 4 o'clock and it'd be a desert. You'd have no problem. But since the pandemic, man, you got to get those tee times at 3, 4, or 5 o'clock on a Saturday night now, or on a Sunday, because people are rushing to those courses, and there's a passion for golf these days.
Which, by the way, it was our fault. We should have called, but it was last minute. You keep clubs in your trunk. You never know when the opportunity is going to come up. So I'll apologize for nothing. We got to play a quick 9, and it worked out. So did you have any reaction? Did you watch the home run derby last night? Typically, you know how the sports radio world works. Like the day after an all-star game, people just complain, and then they talk about how they need to fix it.
So they've changed the rules so much on that. Mm-hmm. I don't even watch it. I don't. There was no Brewers in it. Not since Jeremy or Prince Fielder won it in Arizona a few years ago. And I was thinking back when Jeremy Burnitz won it in 1999.
Yeah, just a couple years ago, not too long.
And then in recent years, I did it so I didn't have to listen to Chris Berman. I stayed away from it, and so I didn't even. Honest to God, I don't even know who won. Was it O'Neal Cruz?
No, he was second place to Cal Raleigh, the big dumper, who Pat McAfee introduced. He was doing introductions last night, which is something that people were annoyed by, too.
Okay. Now, Pat, I know he had his, or not Pat, Cal Raleigh had his dad pitching to him. I know that. It was, when I was watching a Mariners broadcast, they were taking batting practice in Seattle. But I mean, that guy's amazing, man. That guy, I'm not surprised that he won it. He would have been my pick to win it.
It's pretty fun to watch. Well, the Brewers, I think, all-star, we're talking about McGill and Mizorowski, and we can talk about coming out of the break and what the team should do moving forward. But I think this week, Brewers fans, we kind of have to appreciate how this team went from looking like the worst Brewers team probably in this era, right? Ever since they started, kind of getting it going in 2017. They were awful through the first month, and they turned it around to such a degree that they just set a franchise record for wins in the first half. It's pretty hard to believe the transformation that this team took over the last few months.
Oh, you're right. Because I thought they were on the skate to nowhere.
Same.
I mean, each and every night, it didn't seem like, Grant, they were going anywhere. They got off to that poor start, and then they're 4 games under the 500 mark in May. And some of the national guys are talking, well, we'd love to have Freddie Peralta on this team. How those national guys talk. And then Memorial Day weekend came, and they turned it around in Pittsburgh. And here we are, 35-15 since that 4 games under, and doing it in so many different fashions. And I think one of the keys, Grant, and I'm sure you talked about this, Frelick at the top of the order. Now we're hoping that, he's not going to be on the injured list, or he's not going to have to spend an amount of time off, because they really need him. Been a catalyst at the top of that order. And I think that's been a big key for this offense.
I think Yelich, he obviously started so poorly. So him just kind of finding the back of his baseball card was huge. Churio as well. But I think I hear a lot, especially the radio broadcasters, Levering and Lane Grindle, they were talking about this a lot the other night, the lengthening of the lineup. And I think that starts at the top with Sal Frelick, like you said, but also Caleb Durbin has found a nice little niche. And Ortiz, despite Murph's comments and some ugly bats over the last week, did have a nice month. Like when your 1 hitter and then your 8 and 9 hitters are all contributing and kind of doing their job in concert with the meat of the order, just kind of settling in. I guess it's no surprise that this team has been a lot better over the last 2 months than the first.
Oh yeah, and they needed somebody in the heart and the order like Yelich to light it up. I mean, you could have all the pitching in the world, but you got to be able to score some runs. And when you don't have 3 and 4 and 5 producing for you, I mean, it's tough to win that way. So they've had the lead off. They've had guys at the bottom of the order. I mean, yeah, I think I've told you this before. I don't think Ortiz is long for this team. I'm not this year he's going to be on it, but I mean, in the long term, I think that maybe they have other plans for Ortiz, and maybe it doesn't involve, being on that 40-man roster. But the Brewers have done it, and they've started to hit too. There's been times when they got to rely heavily on their pitching, but their pitching has been so good that they've been able to get away with when their offense isn't producing.
So here's $1 million question, because you're hearing a lot of the national pundits like D-Row on MLB Network and these guys like the Brewers pitching and defense. That's what wins in the postseason. This team is set up to succeed in October. And I started thinking, well, I remember thinking the same thing in 2021 and the same thing in 2023. Oh, yeah. And they looked not even close to the Braves or the Diamondbacks in those series. So what's different about this team that would make you feel like their odds are better?
I felt the last few years, I felt as good as I have now.
Right.
Thinking, okay, here we go. This is October baseball.
Yep.
And then we get to that mini series, and we're done after a couple of games.
Yeah.
So it's a matter of who plays well in October, getting hot. Look at the Mets. They got hot in October last year. Look at Arizona a few years ago. They got hot. Atlanta, when they played the Brewers in 2021, they got on a roll. You can go back to the Cardinals in 2011 against the Brewers. They got on a roll and won the World Series. So that's what it is. I think you can stack together all these regular season wins and all that, but somehow you got to be able to capture that magic at the right time in October and hope it works for you.
Do you think chasing the Cubs, being behind the Cubs, being the team that's chasing puts them maybe in a better spot to be feeling that and to have that kind of vibe at the end of the season, rather than it's our division and it's kind of been our division for 2 months? Maybe that's actually a good spot for this team.
Yeah. I thought at one point only the wild card was going to be in play, Grant, but being a game behind the Cubs, that's going to be fun. You remember in 2019, they were chasing the wild card spot and they had to get roasting hot in September, and did. And then they got to that 1 game playoff game, and they fell apart against Washington. But you can be playing your best baseball in September, but Who knows when you get to October. I'd love for them to get one of the top 2 seeds so we don't have to go through that wild card round.
It would be great.
They're right there. They're right there. Where a couple of months ago, I didn't think a 1 or 2 seed was even possible. But, they're in the chase like they were last year. Last summer, they were in kind of the same position.
What is your appetite for an aggressive buy at the deadline, maybe relative to some of the last few years? Where do you stand on what they could do?
People want to stay infield, but I like to see a power hitting outfield.
Sure.
I would love to see somebody in left field and a power hitting left field or
just soup up whoever's playing Isaac Collins' role.
Yeah.
Currently.
I mean, Isaac Collins, I don't think long term he's the starting left fielder. I really don't. I think he's a rotation outfield guy. It's not like he's having an all-star year. He's doing everything asked of him. He's one of the best defending left fielders by the stats and the numbers and the analytics in baseball. I just think if they could do better in left field, why not?
And I don't think when we talk about replacing Isaac Collins, it's not that we think Isaac Collins is bad. I think he's been exactly what they've needed him to be in most spots, especially defensively.
Oh, sure.
It's just a spot you could stand to get a little bit of a beefier at bat. Would you, now as Blake Perkins comes back, and Sal Frelick's health will depend, but would you move Churio around or would you leave him in center and kind of build everything around that?
No, I'd move him to the corner spot.
Really? Okay.
I would. And I think Blake Perkins will get called up if Frelick's, he's going to get called up if Frelick's going to spend some time on the injured list.
Yeah.
We'll find that out soon. But yeah, I really think he's done a nice job out there. He's made some nice catches. He's made some mistakes. But center field is not his natural position. I know he played it in the minor leagues and all that, but I'd rather see him somewhere else.
You'd rather see him on a corner? I mean, it would certainly give them more flexibility. It felt like they went, here's what I get hung up on. It felt like they went through some growing pains to get him comfortable in center field. And now I feel like he's comfortable in center field. Now, if you put Blake Perkins there, you can't do much better defensively. But now I wondered, after finally getting him settled, do you want to start moving him around again? I just wonder how that impacts him.
I see that point, but I think left field is a nice settling position for anybody. I mean, of the 3 outfield spots, left field is the spot you always want to bury your guy. Not that you want to bury Churio because he's not bad defensively, but Perkins and Frelick or whoever's, I mean, Perkins is a Gold Glove center field. I don't want to see Perkins in the everyday lineup either unless I have to have him because of injury.
Yeah.
But if you somehow got another center fielder, I'd move more to left field.
Little bit of So I'm going to pause this. We'll wrap this up on the other side of the break. We'll have just a couple minutes. It'll be 3 or 4 minutes left with Chuck. He's the best. I love a chance to fill in with Bill on a Tuesday because that means I get to talk with Freems. We'll conclude this interview next.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Little bit of a thought experiment just for fun. If the Brewers started a 3-game wildcard series next week and you could line up your starters any way that you want, would you go Peralta, Mizorowski, Woodruff? Who would be your third starter that you trust the most right now?
You mean for this weekend against the Dodgers?
Yeah, or just let's just like a trust tree. If you had to rank your starters and line them up any way you could have them for a playoff series.
For a playoff series,
Yeah.
I would go Peralta. Peralta would be number 1,
Okay.
and then I'd throw Mizorowski as 2, and Woodruff. That's pretty good 3 if you got to a game 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be it for me. It's just again the pitching, the bullpen, and Grant never has been a concern for me at all. I've never thought, they really need to go out there and get themselves some pitching. No, I'm good with the pitching. I just think that offensively, they still need to stretch a few things out. They sent 3 pitchers to the All-Star game, but you'd be hard pressed to find anybody who really deserves to be on the All-Star team from the offense, from the lineup.
Freddie Peralta has 11 wins, which is kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Do you think Brewers fans are underrating the season that he has? And I'll speak for myself. I think sometimes we watch him and he's so wild and it's not always the most efficient, but then you look up at the end of the game, it's like, oh, he threw 6 innings of 2 hits, 8 strikeouts, 1 walk. And like, why does the eye test sometimes with Freddie not match up with the results? He's got 11 wins. I think we're underrating the season that he's having.
Yeah, I think once in a while he runs into a high pitch count, and like the 3rd inning, you're sitting there and he's got 75 pitches on the board there, and you're like, what are we going to do here?
Mm-hmm.
The other day he was able to go deep into the game, and obviously didn't allow a hit to the 6th inning, but he's been phenomenal. He has been phenomenal. The only problem again is that sometimes he runs into a pitch count, and he'll get up. There'll be a hitter working him for 12 or 13 pitches in an at bat. And they don't need that because obviously that taxes the bullpen in the long run. But Freddie made a great start. I mean, didn't have to. Everybody was available in the bullpen on a Sunday, but he went deep into the game the other day, and he was terrific. Got more of that, man. He's definitely worked himself into the ace position on the team.
And his last 3 starts have been really impressive. That first game against the Mets where he went 6 innings, and then what he did against the Dodgers, and then against Washington, right, taking that no-hitter deep into the game. So I think the last week or 2 has been just about as impressed as I've been with Freddie. Probably in a long time. So I'm going to cut this interview off. There's about 60 seconds left, but what it is Chuck explaining where you can find his podcast. It's Locked On Brewers. So wherever you listen to podcasts, and maybe you listen to this show in podcast form, just type in Locked On Brewers wherever you listen to this. That'll do the trick. And he also, all of his shows are on YouTube, so you can see his face and his flowing hair. He's got a nice dome. I'll say that about Chuck. Flowing hair, alpha male, always been described that way for his career in radio, at least the years that I've listened to him doing mornings in Milwaukee. So Locked On Brewers, Google, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you consume your content, you'll be able to find it there. Really appreciative of Chuck, not just for earlier today, but he does Bill's show every Tuesday. So very generous with his time. I love him. All right, when we come back, a couple more Brewers thoughts and some Packers extension opportunities that I want to discuss before Zach Heilprin joins us at 5:30.
This is a Wisconsin Sports Zone update.
You can expect to see Jacob Mizorowski for an inning tonight. That was the word from National League manager Dave Roberts yesterday when discussing the rookie pitcher. Mizorowski is at his first All-Star game, and he's there after just 5 starts. That has drawn some criticism from fellow players and could be awkward for Mizorowski, but he says that hasn't been the case.
They're not upset with me, so I mean, there's nothing I did. So they were all nice to me. Clubhouse has been good, so I'm not, no, nothing.
He also admitted he wasn't expecting the kind of backlash his selections received.
No, I mean, I think it was just one of those things that that's the way it happened. And, it's not really anything I've done. And I'm not going to say no to MLB about coming to the game. So it is what it is.
Again, the All-Star game in Atlanta is tonight, along with Mizrowski. The Brewers also have pitchers Freddie Peralta and Trevor McGill, though only Mizrowski and McGill are eligible to pitch tonight. After tonight, players will get a couple more days off before opening up the second half of the season on Friday in L.A. against the Dodgers. A trip to Seattle will follow for the crew, who won 7 straight going into break, just 1 game back of the Cubs in the NL Central.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Rural Mutual Insurance is a proud sponsor of the Wisconsin State Fair. As a thank you for your support, they're giving away State Fair tickets. Visit ruralmutual.com/win and enter to win State Fair tickets.
Rural Mutual Insurance, keeping Wisconsin strong.
Well, the Packers will be on the field 8 days from now for the first practice of training camp. The team's rookies will actually report this coming Friday. And Big Ten Media Days out in Las Vegas get going next Tuesday. Wisconsin coach Luke Fickell and 3 players, including quarterback Billy Edwards Jr., will face the media on Wednesday. With this Wisconsin Sports Zone Network update, I'm Zach Heilprin.
The Milwaukee Brewers' 3rd best record in the National League, behind only the Dodgers and the Cubs. And what's amazing about the Brewers, when you look at their journey from the offseason to now, in the offseason, until March, they didn't sign a free agent for more than $1 million. They finally signed Quintana under pressure for $4.25 million at some point in March, and that certainly helped them. He's been a fine addition for the Brewers. So they don't have much of an offseason after losing Willy Adames to free agency, after trading Devin Williams, and yet here they are again. Then they start the season, the Torpedo Bat Series in New York. Remember, oh my goodness, Freddie Peralta said yesterday, Sunday, that he was a little bit worried after that series and after what happened at the hands of the New York Yankees with their torpedo bats, which we haven't heard a word about for a couple of months now. The Brewers climb back out of that, and here they are, as they are here every single year, it seems. No matter what you do to them, no matter who they lose, they rally.
Yeah, I mean, I went to the one in Kansas City, that would have been 12. I remember going to that and seeing that, and I thought it was the coolest thing that all the big stars were in one place. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting.
This is where Wisconsin gathers to talk sports. Packers, Brewers, Badgers, Bucks. The Wisco Sports Show is on the air. Now, here's your host, Grant Bills.
That very complimentary Ken Rosenthal clip one more time, and a comment from Jacob Mizrowski to our own Mike Clemens the other day about a time he attended an All-Star game in 2012. Cool memory. And Mike Clemens with kind of a full court heave, like, hey, you ever been to an All-Star game? And it turns out he had. I would not have expected that answer. The Wisco Sports Show presented by Road American. If you go to roadamerica.com, you can look at their events calendar. This weekend will be a biggie. It's their WeatherTech Vintage Weekend with Brian Redmond. So they're going to feature really the past 100 years of racing with over 400 vintage and historic race cars competing across several days. They'll be showing them off so you can walk around and see the sights and sounds, but then also see the cars in action. Adam Carolla, comedian, actor, motorsport enthusiast, will take the stage for a one-night-only comedy show on Thursday night at 7:30. And I am reading from the website some details on this show. Additionally, fans will have the unique opportunity to experience Carolla's acclaimed documentary, 24-Hour War, during the special private screening with Adam and John Clay Wolf, radio personality and owner-founder of Give Me the VIN. So that's some of the things coming up this weekend. If you like old cars, and I am admittedly not like the whole, like that does not get my motor running, I'll look at old cars all day because old cars are friggin' sweet. So if that sounds like it up your alley, and it absolutely should be, go to roadamerica.com. You can get your tickets for this weekend or look at their events calendar for the rest of the year, and you might just find something that you like, or do one of their driving schools or something a little bit more low-key, like a sunset cruise, something like that. Appreciate Road America being a part of the show. Something that came out of the Derby last night that is not related to the distance of the home runs or the showing that Pat McAfee gave beforehand, the introductions, a lot of people didn't like. Rob Manfred joined, interestingly enough, Pat McAfee, and I'll actually give Pat a lot of, not that I need to give him credit or anything. I thought that it takes a certain type of interviewer with a commissioner to establish a comfort level and to get an honest answer like this. So here's an exchange between Pat McAfee and Rob Manfred last night, talking specifically about the Pittsburgh Pirates and a team in a situation like Pittsburgh. That's where McAfee's from. So you hear a little bit of his personal experience too. I think this is a really good minute 15. So all the credit in the world to Pat McAfee.
When I grew up in Pittsburgh, though, I wasn't the biggest baseball fan strictly because I wasn't a Pirates fan.
Right.
And the reason why I wasn't a Pirates fan is because the Pirates were just a team that you go down to the ballpark and have a good time.
Right.
You never expected them to actually win. And it's like, I think at this stage, especially with the sell the team chance and everything, you say it's the system's fault. It's like, it'd be good for the league for every team to be competitive, right? Is that what you're selling is whenever it's like we're trying to get that?
100%.
For the good of the game, brother. Because I think I would have been a good baseball fan and probably player.
Would have been a good player.
But just stayed away from it strictly because my dad was like, nope, we're not doing it and we're not getting into it because of the Pirates experience. Not saying it's just the Pirates. There's other teams that feel this way as well.
100%.
But it's good for the sport, I think, right?
Oh, you're right on the money, Pat. I mean, exactly right. The fact of the matter is Pittsburgh's a great sports town.
Great.
It is a great sports town. There are tons and tons of really passionate Pirates fans who remember when the Pirates were a great team year in, year out. And they just want to look at the system and say, we got a fair chance to win when you're sitting around in February looking at, spring training and what the year's going to be like. And we need to deal with that issue.
Need to deal with that issue. He's talking directly about the system and the issue with that system specifically for teams like Pittsburgh. Now, there's a chance that Rob Manfred is just going on a television show and saying the things that one should say to cater to the interests and the desires and the frustrations of a small market like Pittsburgh. Of course, it's not baseball's smallest market. It would be the Brewers, and they managed to succeed, throughout. I would argue the Pirates could do quite a bit more than they are doing, but let's just assume the Pirates are a victim completely and totally of the system, which I do not believe, but let's just operate that. How could the Pirates possibly win ball games? Look at what they're up against with, the big spending of the other clubs. The comments here from Rob Manfred are not completely and totally harmless throwaway comments if you are someone with the players union, or if you are a player or trying to protect the interests of the players union. I've read a lot of baseball reaction, people who cover baseball much more closely. I mean, I don't cover baseball. We talk about baseball. I don't cover it. You hear comments like this and you're like, oh boy, we're definitely headed for, a work stoppage when this next CBA is up. I wonder, what specifically is behind a comment like that? Is it about the big spending of teams like New York and LA? Or is it about, an owner like Bob Nutting, who owns the Pirates, who just doesn't spend because he has no mechanism forcing him to spend? It's difficult to talk about this among Brewers fans because we have no sympathy for other small market teams. We're looking at the Dodgers or the Mets or other teams the Brewers have lost to in the past and saying they're spending 2-3x what the Brewers are, 4x. I don't know how big the numbers are. Like, that's the issue. And a lot of times when you want to talk about the issue or the idea of some sort of salary cap to close that distance a little bit, you'll have people like Ken Rosenthal or Jeff Passan or, Rob Manfred's not going to say it, but baseball people will come out and say, well, yeah, that's an issue. The big spending of New York and LA, that is an issue. But what's also an issue is as much as we need a salary cap, we need a salary floor. And as soon as that's said, Brewers fans, again, with no sympathy for any other small market or cheap or poor teams, we hear that and say, oh, come on, give me a break. You're telling me that we need to police small market teams instead of looking at a team like the Dodgers, deferred $750 million in contracts over the last couple of years. Like the spending of small market teams, that's the issue. So again, Brewers fans, I know we don't have any sympathy for that. We don't have any time for that. But I think it is an important part of the equation of big market, small market, the league as a whole. The poll ads in Minnesota, although I thought they were selling, but I haven't really followed all that closely. They have no reason to spend if they don't want to. Bob Nutting and the ownership group or family or whatever in Pittsburgh has no reason to spend if they don't want to. There's no mechanism forcing them to invest a bare minimum amount of money. So there are plenty of owners around the league who collect the money, invest very little of it back in. They create the widest profit margins possible. They eat that money. What are you going to do? People are still going to come to the ballpark. They're still going to come here and drink beers, and we'll be fine. You know what I mean? Every once in a while, we'll hit on a Paul Skeens. That'll get us through. We'll be okay. I agree that a salary floor, while maybe not as important or maybe not as front and center for fans like Brewers fans, is crucial as well. And I want to play that commentary from Rob Manfred one more time here.
Nope, we're
just
not
to
doing.
fully.
Not saying.
Where did he start talking here?
There's other teams that feel that.
It's a lot of Pat. That is my one gripe about Pat in his interviews. It's like, can you ask? I don't need a 40-second question. Can you do a 14-second
There's other teams that feel this way as well.
100%.
But it's good for the sport, I think, right?
Oh, you're right on the money, Pat. I mean, exactly right. The fact of the matter is, Pittsburgh's a great sports town.
Great.
It is a great sports town. There are tons and tons of really passionate Pirates fans who remember when the Pirates were a great team year in, year out, and they just want to look at the system and say, we got a fair chance to win when you're sitting around in February looking at, spring training and what the year's going to be like. And we need to deal with that issue.
Those are not completely harmless, meaningless comments. Like there's something there. And I do wonder what the future brings between the PA and the owners. That's going to get nasty. I don't want a work stoppage, but the owners know that they're much more prepared. They're much more capable of handling themselves and being okay through that, much more than the players are. Players can't afford to miss games. The owners, I'm sure they don't want to, they are more equipped. And they know that at some point the players will come back to the table and give in on their demands because they can't afford to miss game checks. 608-321-1670. Let's take a call. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
Hey, it's Bill in Boulder.
Bill in Boulder, in actual Boulder, Colorado?
Yeah.
Oh, awesome, Bill. Well, nice to meet you. What's up?
Not by choice. I missed the Midwest. I missed the lakes. Screw the mountains. But yeah, so I think the Brewers are going to. I think we're going to take it. I think we're going to take first place. But I really have to break it to you. I mean, as a Bears fan, we're going to completely destroy you. But as Badgers fans, I don't think they're going to win more than 4 games. So
good news about one of my teams, bad news about another, and then bad news about my Packers because you're that hyped on the Bears. You think Ben Johnson is the answer?
If he isn't, then I mean, I'm not going to like the sport anymore.
I sympathize with that. He is the number one hire. But put it this way, no one's going to be able to look back at the hiring of Ben Johnson and say, what were the Bears doing? You know what I mean? Like him as a head coach is the number one offensive guy.
What I understand, and I'm so what's the word? I don't believe in anything. It is what it is.
You're so skeptical.
Not skeptical. Completely
cynical.
Cynical. Yes,
okay,
exactly. So cynical. And yeah, I mean, I met Rex Grossman as a kid in 2007, and I was like, "We got this with Devin Hester." He returned the kickoff in the Super Bowl all the way, and then we have a guy who can't take a snap.
There is that. As a Badger fan, we're familiar with that idea too. Like the best player in the world is either on defense or special teams, and then we got to watch Kurt Phillips or whatever the F his name was try to throw a downfield pass.
Well, do you think that Fickle? Are we good? I
think Fickle's the guy. Yeah, I don't know, man. For all these questions, we get this all the time on this show and Bill's show. It's like, well, how long is Fickle's leash? I don't know. I'm not even to the point where I'm considering the end of it.
Yeah, just 3 Bs.
What was that?
Yeah, 3 Bs.
Bears, Badgers. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate it. And Bill in Boulder, that's like 5 Bs. I appreciate the call. Yeah, Badgers, I don't know what to do with. We'll get a good rundown from Zach. He's going to be at Big Ten Media Days next week out in Vegas. Poor guy. And maybe we'll connect with like Colton Bartholomew. We'll have Jesse tomorrow so we can talk a little bit more about that as well. When people ask that, I never know what to say. You know what I mean? Like when people ask me, "Hey, how do you think the Packers will be good this year?" I'm like, "Well, they got a good. They're deep. They got a good group of players. There's gonna be some tough games. We'll see." Like I kind of have a grasp. You ask me, what are they gonna do with Fickle? Man, I don't know. He's getting good recruits. I think the Badgers' struggles are He hired Phil Longo, which was a mistake, combined with the current climate in college football where it's really hard to keep guys in the hopper for much more than a year if they're not playing and succeeding right away. Oh, yeah, and your team isn't winning, and you're not collecting any signature wins. So if a guy is on the fence, it's like, okay, maybe I'll play next year, maybe not. Well, we're not winning any games here anyways. Like, what am I giving up if I leave? That type of thing. But when people say, well, how long is Fickle's leash? I don't think we're remotely approaching the end of the leash. I don't think so. McIntosh can't fire him because that'll look bad for McIntosh. You know what I mean? So if you're out for a while, he's going to have a lot of runway to figure it out. And I guess on some level he should. It's just that Longo hire really, really, really sucked and basically cost them 2 years. Not to mention that their quarterbacks were hurt. Like, I'll rip the program for their failures the last couple of years as much as anybody because they should be ripped for that. But if Tyler Van Dyke and or Tanner Mordecai were healthy throughout, like, I think they probably pick up a couple more wins. And if they had beaten Oregon and or Penn State last year, I think last season looks a little different. It doesn't look massively different. It's not like we're thinking we're in the playoff this year. The schedule's still hard as balls. But just one signature win last year, even if then you continue to get blasted by Iowa and Nebraska, who I'm the Ben Kenny school of thought. Those are your true rivals, and those are the games you need to win. Minnesota, too. But with a healthy quarterback, they probably beat Penn State and or Oregon last year. So part of that's just horrible luck. And I'll give Luke Fickell a little bit of the benefit of the doubt on that. Let's take a break. We'll come back. One more piece of baseball audio and then a little Packers audio that I want to play for you, including one that hints at that Packers-Bears rivalry. Bill out in Boulder, so we'll talk about that next, too.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
When I grew up in Pittsburgh, though, I wasn't the biggest baseball fan strictly because I wasn't a Pirates fan.
Right.
And the reason why I wasn't a Pirates fan is because the Pirates were just a team that you go down to the ballpark and have a good time.
Right.
You never expected them to actually win. And it's like, I think at this stage, especially with the sell the team chance, everything you say it's the system's fault. It's like, it'd be good for the league for every team to be competitive, right? Is that what you're selling is whenever it's like we're trying to get that?
100%.
For the good of the game, brother. Because I think I would have been a good baseball fan and probably player.
Would have been a good player.
But just stayed away from it strictly because my dad was like, nope, we're not doing it, and we're not getting into it because of the Pirates experience. Not saying it's just the Pirates. There's other teams that feel this way as well.
100%.
But it's good for the sport, I think, right?
Oh, you're right on the money, Pat. I mean, exactly right. The fact of the matter is, Pittsburgh's a great sports town.
Great.
It is a great sports town. There are tons and tons of really passionate Pirates fans who remember when the Pirates were a great team year in, year out. And they just want to look at the system and say, we got a fair chance to win when you're sitting around in February looking at, spring training and what the year's going to be like. And we need to deal with that issue.
All right, so I'm down. I think it starts with Pittsburgh actually being forced to spend a little money. So the salary floor or mechanisms that force cheap owners to spend money, I think that is important. But it's hard to tell the fans of the Twins or the Brewers or, the Rays, these teams that just don't have any money. The owners don't have any money. It's like, well, yeah, the Dodgers spend too much, but you poors, you need to spend more. It's like, oh, okay. So the team that's spending $750 million deferred through 2 decades, like you're telling me, I'm the problem or I'm part of the problem. I understand why that doesn't always land well with fans of small market teams, but I think it is true. One more time, that message from Rob Manford last night. If you have any Brewers takes, I'll take your calls for the next 10 minutes. Takes on the All-Star game or whatever. 608-321-1670. But I do have a couple football things that I want to get to. Duncan Holman texts in, responding to Bill and Boulder's call. Says, another year the Bears are going to destroy the Packers. We're doomed. There was a lot of, there's a good amount of talk from Bears fans and from Packers fans. It's a rivalry, so don't get your back bent out of shape. Here is Rashid Walker on Good Morning Football with Kyle Brandt this morning. NFL Network. Get a little bit of this in you. Little rivalry talk.
At the end of last season, the Bears won in Lambeau. And I don't know if it's gotten back to you, but Caleb Williams, our young quarterback, has said a few times this offseason that he is undefeated in Lambeau Field, and he's pretty pleased with that. What's it like to hear that, and what do you guys do about it?
Hey, man, he got lucky. But
what do you mean?
He got lucky. You know what I'm saying? Make the playoff.
Tell us more, Rashid.
He doesn't want to. He said he got lucky.
Look.
Hey, he's saying a lot without saying nothing.
Yep.
No, man, that's all I got to say. You know what I'm saying? They got lucky, make the playoffs, and we're going to see him again this year.
So, by definition, I think he's right. I think the Bears did get lucky because Matt LaFleur, for no reason at all, just decided to take a timeout to save 40-some, 50-some seconds for the Bears to try to go kick a field goal. I still don't understand that decision. Well, there's miscommunication with Rich Bisaccia. Oh, you mean the assistant head coach who was standing right next to him on the effing sideline? Like, oh, you're right. Okay, so Rich Bisaccia is in the wrong too then if he had anything involved with that. I also think the Packers were lucky to win the game at Soldier Field. Bears fans, Packers fans, can I just put this to bed about last season? Because we've been catfighting back and forth about, the Packers were so lucky we blocked field goal. And then, the Bears were so lucky to win at Lambeau in week 18. Granted, a bunch of backups were playing for the Packers at that moment in time, but I agree there was luck on both sides. The Packers-Bears series last year, splitting 1-1, splitting wins 1-1, home or away and away. That's how that was supposed to go. That was the record, the rivalry record that both teams earned last year. What I think is messy and why we've had a hard time settling on exactly how the Packers-Bears games went last year is, if we're being honest, the Packers probably should have lost at Soldier Field and won at home. And the Bears probably should have won at home and lost in week 18 because Matt LaFleur, I don't know, had a simple monkey in his brain when he called that timeout. The Packers and the Bears got the record against each other that they deserved last year. I just think each team won the wrong game. I think the Packers got lucky to win at Soldier Field, and then the Bears got lucky to win at Lambeau. So they split. They went 1-1. That's how it was supposed to go last year. And I'll never forget. I will absolutely never forgive Matt LaFleur for calling that timeout. It's such a stupid little game in week 18 that meant nothing to nobody other than rivalry points, obviously. and between the fan bases, a little cat calling. More news, and I see G-Dub, a Washington fan on the live stream, great contributor to our network, caller up in Appleton, I believe. Says, would Packers fans trade any of your top 3 wide receivers for Terry McLaurin? Yes, because he's better than all of them. Here's Terry McLaurin, who's upset about his contract, describing his frustration, and then talking about how he doesn't know if he's going to show up to camp next week.
Yeah, I've been pretty frustrated. I'm not going to lie. Everything that has transpired up until this point has just been disappointing and frustrating. I've wanted to continue my career here. I've created my life here. My wife and I have bought our first home here. So this has been somewhere where I've always wanted to be. Yeah, honestly, I haven't decided that yet. I'm trying to take things day by day. And, I think that's the disappointing part, where I was hoping up until this point things would clear up a lot more than they have. And so I haven't made that decision yet. And I'm just going to see how the rest of this week goes and take it day by day and go from there.
So I only play this, not really because I care about Terry McLaurin. I think they'll extend him or they'll figure something out and he'll be there. So this is not Packers fans. Would you trade this player and this pick for Terry McLaurin? 608-321-1670. Is not what I'm doing. This is just an example of how teams step on a rake every year at this time of year. And I don't understand it. I get it with the Cowboys because the Cowboys are kind of dummies and it's what they do. They drag their feet. They take forever only to sign the contracts that we should have known the whole time they were always going to sign. But everybody else, like, what's the Commander's excuse? Terry McLaurin is the perfect, by all accounts, at least from what I've seen on the outside, unless I'm missing something, people closer to the situation, he is relatively drama-free, produces no matter the quarterback. You finally got the quarterback to throw him a deep ball. Extend him. Give him the contract. I assume they're going to do it anyways. So why drag this out? Why make your guy wait? I don't get it. The Bengals and what they're doing, I get that a little bit more because they're cheap. Because they don't want to pay Trey Hendrickson or they don't want to deal with, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase or that stuff. I understand that. Okay, fine. I bring this up to connect it to the Packers a little bit. I think there are 2 players that are going to have their contracts extended, augmented, adjusted, whatever you want to say. Zach Tom, to me, is a cut and dry candidate for an extension right now. And my hope is that the Packers announce it in the next week before training camp starts, because I don't really want it to become a thing in training camp. It's less likely to become a thing with Zach Tom than it is with Elton Jenkins. It's already been a thing with Elton Jenkins. I just like it done. Just so we're good to go into camp. I don't want it to be a thing. Elton Jenkins might need it done because if not, he might hold in or hold out completely. I think he'd try to avoid that because then he'd lose money, but I think there's a chance that he'd show up and say, oh, my back, my knee, my foot. Right? And then Jordan Love has a backup snapping him the ball, which isn't the end of the world, but aren't we trying to be in the best position possible? Aren't we trying to have all of our ducks in a row? We want everybody to be there, everybody participating. And again, it would be one thing if they didn't feel great about extending either player, but I feel like they should. Like Zach Tom, that's easy. Elton Jenkins, I don't think is asking for the world. He's already making top center money. Just lengthen his contract a little bit so he has some security, which I think the Packers are fine with. He's playing center. That should probably age well. Don't drag it out. Just do it, and do it before camp starts. Let's take a call here. 608-321-1670. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
It's William in McHenry County. So
William in where?
McHenry County.
McHenry County. Now, where's that? Hold on now.
Google it.
In Texas? No. McHenry County?
Yeah. Fought for the Union. Abraham Lincoln State.
Oh, in Illinois?
Yeah, it's right there.
I'm sorry, I don't know my Illinois counties. I'm sorry I've derailed your call, William. Keep going, and I will research here on my own time.
Okay. So the Cubs have the easiest. They have one of the easiest schedules.
Correct.
And the Brewers are the opposite and one of the worst schedules.
Correct.
So, yeah, that was my main point.
Are you coming from this from a Cubs fan down in Illinois, or are you a Brewers fan?
No, I hate them. Unfortunately.
And you live amongst them.
Well, I did. Well, you know what? Can I tell this? I want to put this out.
Please.
This is really when I really solidified my hatred of the Cubs. I was a student that many students do. They take the Metro of Chicago into the city from the suburbs. And if you're taking a summer class, then there will be Cubs fans on there. And they're drinking Budweiser, Bud Light, and it gets on you, and you're trying to do your homework, and they chant, and they have disagreements with the elderly that have their
elderly
to the music music. They're scum. They're scum.
Leave the elderly.
What can I say? Would you want me? I can't. Yeah, the Cubs fans they don't respect the elderly. They don't.
You're just being honest, William. And now I appreciate it. I just got to get to a guest. I see it's McHenry County, not McHenry County. It is right to the east of Lake County. So yeah, okay, I know where that is. Sorry, I derailed your call. Look, if you're worried about the strength schedule, Cubs have a very easy schedule. Brewers have a slightly more challenging one. It's not like it's the top of the list, but it's like 10th hardest or something like that. I actually think it's good for this Brewers team to be chasing the Cubs and to be playing legit teams. I think if you want this team to be sharp and ready to get after it when the postseason starts, if this is a postseason team, I think it all bodes well for them. I would rather have that. I'd rather have a battle-tested team that's been fighting through the finish line coming into the playoffs if that's where the season ends up. So strength of schedule factors into that, and then chasing the Cubs, being a game behind the Cubs. I actually kind of like that they have a rabbit to chase this year. This has been the case in the past, at least not for a couple of years. Thank you, William, for the call. Sorry for setting you up poorly by asking where the hell that is. McHenry County, of course. Let's take a break. Zach Heilprin to join us to talk about some of these concepts we just mentioned with the Packers and to get ready for Big Ten Media Days, which is next week.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 5 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 4 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
It's the Wisco Sports Show. Have a little time at the very end of the show if you have any final thoughts on the All-Star game coming up tonight or anything you want to discuss with the Brewers or anything we've talked about. There'll be a little time at the end, so I'll save that. Right now, I want to play for you a conversation that I had with Zach Heilprin in studio earlier today. And I tried to cut the video, but I couldn't get the, it doesn't matter. Here's Zach, a conversation that we had about Big Ten Media Days, but we also discussed some Packers points as well. A couple NFL takes. This Terry McLaurin situation, if that's what you can call it. It just interests me because I think it's a rake that lots of NFL teams step on. They're probably going to extend him. So why do you let it get to this point? And I think of the Packers, you're probably going to extend Zach Tom. And I would bet they'll do whatever Elton Jenkins needs done to get him to play center this year and maybe next. So just do it. Don't let this drag out into training camp. It becomes a whole thing. Not here to discuss training camp, but Big Ten Media Days now about a week away. Zach Heilprin is here. You're ready to embark on Las Vegas?
I mean, we can talk NFL training camp if you'd like. And that's.
Do you have a take on? Well, let's pause. Let's talk about that thing that I was just saying for a minute. Then.
Pay Zach Tom. I assume you're going to, right? You didn't draft Anthony Belton to play right tackle, right? And Jordan Morgan as well.
I'm not sure why they drafted either one of those guys. I don't know.
Well, and we'll see if Anthony Belton actually shows up because he's among the second rounders that has not signed yet, which is a whole bunch of them. Though one of them did sign, one did get a guaranteed contract, which is kind of going to screw everybody else over. But
the owners aren't going to like that one.
All right, Terry McLaurin, Washington. I feel like since the ownership change has done everything right. This feels a little off. So pay the man his money.
I just look. Over my my career of being on the radio every day, you give a lot of opinions. And I look back sometimes, I'm like, why was I wish I wouldn't have been so hot and bothered about that. I look back at the Corbin Burns situation in arbitration. I'm like, why was I so Corbin Burns is a big boy. These players are big boys. All right. I understand that. And I want the organizations to wield power and leverage because I think when it's balanced, it's best. And some leagues get a little bit too far one way or the other. I just don't understand. You're going to extend Terry McLaurin. The Packers should extend Zach Tom. And yet we see so many of these teams let it bleed into training camp. And for what? You had all summer. That would be my goal. If I was running a team, I'd be like, okay, are we going to extend these guys? I want it done by day one of training camp because I don't want this to be a thing.
The difference obviously here is Terry McLaurin is clearly upset and he plays a position where you might have a little bit of an ego, a little bit of a diva.
But he's never been known as one of those guys.
He's from Ohio State. So, I mean, come on.
Okay.
What do you mean he's never been known as one of those guys?
He's never been.
We didn't have a quarterback before this past year.
Yeah. All the more reason that it's clear that like he's never been Steph Diggs or AJ Brown. He could be thinking it or privately saying it, but if you don't wear it on the sideline and at the game, like that's good enough for me. You can say whatever you want behind closed doors.
What is Romeo Doubs?
That's an interesting one.
So, either way, with McLaurin, you're eventually going to pay him. The thing with Zach Thomas, he still showed up to everything.
Yeah,
there's a difference between the two guys.
I'm not saying that he's not going to show up, but like, is he going to hold in?
No, I don't think he will.
Do you think Elton Jenkins would?
I think Elton
he's
Jenkins
the guy
might.
who's switching positions and snapping the ball to Jordan Love every play.
Right, but he's also a guy that's played the position before, played it in college. Like it's not a big deal for him.
I understand, but still, it's a change.
It's a significant change when you did not show up to any of the offseason program outside of the mandatory minicamp, and you didn't do anything in the mandatory minicamp because you were working through something, according to Brian Gutekunst. And we know what he was working through. He's working through not wanting to be out there until he gets it. So I could see him holding it.
All right. That one's concerning. I just don't want to deal with any of this. It gives us something to talk about on the radio, but it's not really that juicy of a topic. Like when Jordan Love was holding in, it's like, well, probably by Wednesday, for sure Thursday. And then a week goes by and you keep saying days until it eventually happens. It's a big waste of time.
Agreed.
Big Ten Media Days next week. Kate's putting on a full court press to try to go, I hear.
Yeah, that did not work out well for her. Well, I mean, again, if she would have asked me last week before the credential period had ended, I would have been like, yeah, for sure.
She's got to be kicking herself.
Well, I feel like I made it clear that I was going to Vegas for media days. Like I'm pretty sure everybody knew that here. I know everybody knew it here. So yeah, it was a little bit of a fumble on her part. However, she's also like then leaving. Like she'd be getting back here on a Thursday, sometime on a Thursday morning, and then getting back on a plane to go to Seattle for Morgan Wallen that
Why
weekend.
is she going to Seattle?
Morgan Wallen. But either way,
he was just here,
and she went to it, and now her and mom are going out there.
That's cool.
I don't want to.
I won't judge that. That's cool.
Not getting into her business, but that's a tough turnaround.
It's never stopped her before. She could just stay out there and then go straight to. Well, maybe she's traveling with her mom, and you're switching around airfare.
Yeah,
that does not bother her though. She'll go to
she's all
Beloit, Milwaukee.
She's like honestly like you throw it back the Energizer Bunny. Like she just never.
She is.
It's crazy that way. But either way, it didn't work out for her. Waiting on this one. But it would have been, it's like a perfect opportunity for her. Like that'd be right in her wheelhouse with all the different things you could do with social media and pictures and all the good stuff you can do at media days. It's great for that. I see like social media types out there a ton. And I'm not saying that's all she is. I'm just saying she's really good at social media.
She's great at it.
So that would have been great for us. As well, but
you're great at social media too. Don't sell yourself short now.
She's really good at the video aspect of it. And just in general, but like her and Kaylin and everybody here that does a great job with that that's not necessarily my wheelhouse.
I'm getting frustrated with Twitter. I feel like I'm just showing up and like consistently delivering the goods with my tweets, and my follower count is not. I keep saying I get so many likes, I get no love. Yeah. I don't understand it. It's whatever.
Have you started your Blue Sky account?
I have a Blue Sky, but
and a Threads account too.
Well, once upon a time, because you have to.
Yeah, Threads actually has taken off again.
Oh, good, great.
It's getting like almost as many monthly views as Twitter.
Those people might actually be real, unlike a lot of the people on Twitter.
Yeah.
Big Ten Media Days. So which Badger's going to be there? Billy Edwards Jr.?
Billy Edwards Jr., quarterback's going to be there. Ricardo Hallman, the cornerback, and Jake Renfro, the center.
Speaking of corners, real quick, not to sidetrack, do we know if we still don't know if Najir Forkering is able to play?
He's able to play until he's not.
Jesus.
That case is still like it's still in the courts right now. And we'll see. Wisconsin is approaching it as if he's going to play, but all it takes is one judge to be like, or the judge. I think there's 3 judges that could be like, well, no. But when it comes to legal stuff and like diving into it, that is not my forte.
Yeah.
Our good friend Colton Bartholomew is much better at it than me.
Which I tried to recruit to go to a baseball game on Sunday. He's preparing for your visit out to Las Vegas.
So we're hitting the town Tuesday night for sure.
Oh, are you really?
Yes.
How often do you go to Vegas? You been?
It's been a while. I went to Vegas for the bowl game a couple years ago.
Oh, that's right.
In 2021.
Was that at Allegiant?
Yep.
Was it just like half empty in there? That had to be weird.
I mean, it was like maybe 40,000, 45,000. It wasn't too bad. It was actually a really good game.
Well, I guess if like you're in Vegas, it's like there's a bowl game going on, we might as well. In Wisconsin, people travel, I guess. It's a reason
absolutely.
to go.
It was a good game. In terms of like going there, went to 3 bachelor parties there from like 2008, 2010, and I think 2012.
Good God.
Yeah. Three different buddies, all the same friend group too, went to Vegas for their bachelor party.
So you just got to go back and follow it up. So when you're out there for the week, when you go around to bars and casinos, you're going to see, big wigs in the Big Ten, folks in athletics departments. Are you? I'm
going to be there for like 36 hours.
You can accomplish a lot in 36 hours.
So I'm getting there. I'm getting there like 8:45 Tuesday morning.
Mm-hmm.
There's 6 teams on that first day, right? And then we'll do whatever we do Tuesday night. And then Wednesday is when Wisconsin's there, and we'll hit up and, hopefully like Chris McIntosh and also all the other people that are going to be there, we'll get them on and do interviews and that kind of stuff. And then I'm heading to the airport and get on the red eye at 12:40.
God, you're built different.
So I don't know that I'm going to be able to spend a lot of time getting around to all the different casinos. I don't know what I'm going to do Wednesday night. Wednesday night, maybe that.
Nice.
Other than I'll be working, but then
of course
before going to the airport, like what am I going to do till like from like 9 to 11 or something?
Will
like that.
PJ Fleck be on the camp? Are you going to try to get an interview with PJ Fleck?
It's not nearly as fun to interview PJ Fleck when Minnesota is better than Wisconsin.
That is true, I suppose.
So it's a little bit more difficult to poo-poo all of his rhetoric, even though I still love doing it. It's just a little bit more difficult when Wisconsin's not good because people just be like, well, yeah, you're just mad because you cover Wisconsin and they're not any good anymore. You're like, well,
no, I've been a hater long before that. It's just
I've been a hater back to the Western Michigan.
A day one hater of PJ Fleck.
Yes, and all the acronyms. You've never been to? I'm guessing you've never been to whatever they're calling Huntington Bank Stadium,
formerly TCF. I bank with Huntington a little bit. I have a loan.
Have you been to the bank? Or I should say, have you been to the stadium?
I have not.
So like where you walk out, where the like Minnesota walks from their locker room down to the field, it's just oars everywhere, up on the walls. It's all the acronyms that he uses up on the walls. It is the most. Yeah, I see your face right now is doing something that I do every time I walk in there. It's like
insufferable.
Yes, very much so.
I saw a ranking. I can't remember which Twitter account had it of Big Ten campuses or Midwestern campuses, and the U was like 2. Like,
have you been to?
I have.
No,
yeah,
I'm saying, have they been?
Yeah, I have been there. I know better. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
and Minneapolis is. I'm in a weird spot with Minneapolis because it's not my favorite city, but it's also not the city that most people describe it as.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, yes.
What some people say
about,
Murder-apolis.
Yes.
Some people say unironically.
Nobody goes out at night. Well, I mean, there's just a ton of things going on.
Plenty of people. Minneapolis is, again, I'm caught in this awkward middle ground of it's not my favorite place, but it's also a lot. Like I like it a lot more than most do. So I'm caught in that.
I don't hate Minneapolis. Like of the big cities, I probably put Indy and then just in terms of like in the Midwest, Indy, then Minneapolis, and then way much further down at Chicago.
I'm a St. Paul man myself. I much prefer St. Paul. I would live in St. Paul. It's a delight.
There's still an opportunity for you.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd love to have me, Zach. Yeah, I'm sure they're banging down the door. Well, we will connect next week. Will there be any special presentations at the camp? Where can we watch for Big Ten Media Days content?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a couple episodes, post one Tuesday night, and then obviously posting one Wednesday as well. Just from the various interviews that we get. Jesse is not going, so it'll be a little bit of a solo venture for me, which I'm looking forward to. Yeah, nice. So posting both wherever you get your podcast and also up on YouTube. Get a little video component to the camp as well.
Zach Heilprin, follow the camp and his Heilprin as well. I appreciate your time, friend. This was a nice surprise. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well.
This is the Wisco Sports Show with Grant Bills on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 3 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 2 minutes. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 1 minute. The Wisco Sports Show will resume in 30 seconds.
Yeah, I've been pretty frustrated. I'm not gonna lie. You know, everything that has transpired up until this point has just been disappointing and frustrating. You know, I've wanted to continue my career here. I've created my life here. You know, my wife and I have bought our first home here. So this has been somewhere where I've always wanted to be.
One more time, just for good measure, that's Terry McLaurin. That was the sound that Zach and I were talking about. And I think it's pertinent for the Packers only because I think the Commanders are going to give in to what McLaurin wants. He's going to stick around. He's going to continue to be a good player for them. So why go through this? You know what I mean? Why go through the song and dance? Be proactive. And I hope that the Packers do that over the next week or so, both with Elgton Jenkins and Zach Tom. Zach Tom's a little different because I don't expect he'll hold out or hold in or make it a thing. Elgton Jenkins might. But also, I want to extend Zach Tom. We're going to extend Zach Tom anyways. Do it now. 608-321-1670. Got time for a call. Wisco Sports Show. Who's this?
This is the Bronze Boomer.
Hey, Pete. What's going on?
That guy that called before Zach Heilprin, his name was Jim. Is that right? It was Jim. And why? I thought Bill Michaels was on vacation. Why was he disguising his voice like that?
Well, he was dumping on
really
Cubs
weird.
fans. I assume you're talking about when Bill dumps on Chicago. I don't think he was doing. He doesn't even live in Chicago. He lives, I think, closer up to the border. He was just talking about a negative experience with Cubs fans, is all.
Yeah, well, he called them scum. You know, I mean, scum or toilet. My goodness. I mean, I understand that, you know, there's some people that live in an area that has 9 million people, that, you know, there are a lot of different people, some good, some bad, but to call it a toilet or to say that their fans are scum, that seems kind of excessive to me.
Well, I'm with you when people complain about Chicago, Pete, and I think I talked about this last week. I just think you don't like big cities. You know what I mean? Like, then that's not for you. Like, you're probably not going to like Minneapolis. You wouldn't like New York.
You're not going to like
LA.
Milwaukee.
But Milwaukee's odd in that it's the biggest town in Wisconsin by far, but it's still tiny compared to Chicago, Minneapolis, New York. You know what I mean? So like I think Wisconsin, we can be lured into thinking, I love cities. I love Milwaukee, but I just don't like Chicago. Chicago is adds its own beast. It's way different than Milwaukee.
Well, wait, just to set the record, I think actually, I'm not talking about the Minneapolis, St. Paul metropolitan area, but I think Milwaukee's population, it may be bigger than Minneapolis. But anyway,
the whole Milwaukee metro, yeah, sure. Go ahead.
Yeah, the same mix of people live in Chicago and Milwaukee. I've lived in both places. It's the same people. I don't exactly know why, living in Chicago, it makes the people aren't any different. They are the same people. They're the same mix of people. Maybe not they're the people that, rich people who live in the Milwaukee suburbs, but then Chicago has their rich suburbs too.
Oh yeah.
But I don't
absolutely.
see what, that makes a place out to be a toilet, because in a big city, you got a lot of people that have problems.
Correct.
But you do that anywhere.
It's that many people in a condensed amount of space. Pete, I appreciate it. Look, you don't like Bill's axe to grind with Chicago. I can't help you. All right. We'll talk about that on his show. I've enjoyed times in Chicago. There's parts of Chicago I don't enjoy. I'm pretty indifferent on the place. I'll go there for specific reasons, but it's not like, oh, Chicago, I must get back. It's just been too long. So I can't help you with Bill's Chicago thing. The caller earlier is just bitching about Cubs fans. It was a sports fandom thing, I think. I don't think he was talking about the people of Chicago or Illinois as lesser than. I think it was just a sports tribal thing. So not that deep. But again, this happens all the time. Like, I get complaints about Bill. Ebo gets complaints about me. I got nothing. Like that's Bill's battle. I'm not gonna speak to that. Couple of texts here. Luke on the dirt roads on William. I think it was in McHenry County. Says, great radio hosting means you never have to say you're sorry for derailing a caller's call, especially when he's from F.All County, Illinois. At least he wasn't a Cubs fan. I'll never try to make you pronounce the name of the county where I live. Well, okay, look, you can say wherever you're from. I'll learn the name of the town or the county or whatever. I just didn't hear him clearly. And at that point, it's like, okay, well, I've stopped your call. We're at least, I want to know. I don't want to move past it now. We've already stopped progress here. So I'd like to talk about it. No, and I don't think it was judgment on the state of Illinois. I think it was just Cubs fans. Drinking on the red line and no respect for the elderly. You heard him. Pete, are you Pete, are you okaying elder abuse by any sports fans, no matter where they live? Tough look, Pete. I'm kidding, of course. That was the funny part of the call. They have no respect for the elderly. Drinking beer on the train, splashing Budweiser everywhere, even on the elderly. Can you believe that? Oh, a couple new time callers. Bill in Boulder, William in McHenry County. We like this a lot. Tomorrow, we'll react to the All-Star game. I'm going to watch it tonight. We'll see what Mizorowski does. I guess he's going to pitch an inning in the 6th or the 7th. That's been reported, at least. We shall see. I just hope he doesn't blow up, because as I said at the beginning of the show, there's going to be talking points tomorrow. There's got to be something that comes out of this game. The sports media machine demands it. And if Mizorowski gets shelled, that could very well be the thing tomorrow. And that would be lame and lazy and stupid and worthless. I hope that's not what happens. So have an excellent rest of your night. Enjoy the All-Star game. We'll be back tomorrow. Probably start to skew a little bit more Packers as the week goes along, as we get closer and closer